everyone, my name is Maridee and I'm sitting here with Dr. Neil in our N-Squared office in Sydney, Australia. And today we're going to talk about Surface and some of the Surface controls.
Cool.
So how are you?
I'm good. How have you been?
Good, good.
I see you're tagged.
Yes, I am tagged. I have a Surface t-shirt on.
So if you lie down on the surface, we know who you are.
Exactly.
Okay.
Perfect. So let's start off by talking about some of the common controls. What are the most common controls you see that are good controls?
So I guess, you know, the WPF SDK that comes in the Surface SDK gives us, as developers, a set of controls that we can use to build Surface apps very quickly, and they're pretty powerful controls, and all the things you expect to see in most WPF type applications, like radio buttons, tick box, checkboxes, sliders, list boxes, exist in the WPF control library for Surface, and they're Surface enabled, so they're enabled for touch input on a Surface device, or contact input on a Surface device with a finger. And that makes it very easy to very quickly build Surface applications that use those controls. And so some of those controls are useful, obviously, depending on the context, and some of them less so, depending on what you're doing. And I guess what the Surface SDK team has done is given us these controls as a way of jump-starting development and getting it. And you can style them same as you style any WPF control. You can bind them to collections, same as you can with a lot of other WPF controls. They have all the same concept and the same routing mechanisms as your standard WPF control.
Okay, great. So what are some examples of great controls?
Yeah, I don't know if I would necessarily call them great controls, but they're very well used controls.
Right,
and there's some of the good things about those controls are they're set up to be enabled for Surface input, and they're 360 degrees. So things like the library container that contains library bar and library stack, and the scatter view items and scatter view control enable you to build Surface type applications very quickly. The downside of those is that all Surface applications start looking the same. It actually has a positive as well, because it means that when someone walks up to a Surface unit, they see the same type of input, scatter view items, library containers, that they've seen in lots of other Surface applications. So it's creating a consistency through Surface applications. So it has some pluses and it has some minuses. I would say, they're very easy to use, very easy to get an app up and running fast. So it has that plus side to it for us as developers as well.
Great. So what are some bad examples of controls that you can think of?
Yeah, it's kind of curious to me. I kind of understand why they're there, but they're somewhat annoying that they exist at all. Things like the text entry box and the password entry box, because as soon as you bring up a keyboard, single user focus, you create a single user application, which Surface is really not designed to be. So you do that, you got a bad application. I always say, as soon as you show me a text entry box, you show me a bad Surface application. There are some examples where you want maybe one as part of a setup or as part of a configuration within the Surface application, but it shouldn't be something that you bring up the whole time. Surface is not a data input device. Surface is we've talked about this over the last few videos, Surface is social interaction, multiple users. So as soon as you bring up a keyboard, that's single user, single point of focus. And if you're using the keyboard and trying to type something to an entry box and I click on another entry box, I'm going to steal your focus, which will really annoy you. So it'll create a bad experience. So that's not what we want to see. And then there's, and those are the common controls that exist within the SDK. There's some other controls that I see people repeatedly trying to build, including some of our customers. They want things like the map control, and the map control is a very single user control. It's very hard to build a good multi-user map control. You want to go one way, you want to show me your house, I want to show you my house, and we can't both go to those two places at the same time. So again, we see that kind of overuse of something that kind of feels cool at initial touch, but actually is not a great experience for multiple users.
Right. Yeah. Okay, great. Well, is there anything else you'd like to say about the Surface controls?
I think the other important thing, and we'll talk more about it probably in another video, is the ability to create your own user controls. And the controls that are given within Surface SDK are just your starting point. And they get you up and running, you can prototype stuff and build stuff very quickly. But then to go to the next level, you really need to start building your own user controls. And that's what we do a lot of, right? I mean, in Squared, we're doing a lot of user control creation for customers that want to do something that is unique, that is different, and that does expand the horizons of what's possible on Surface. And, we'll talk more about that another time, I'm sure.
Sounds good.
Cool.
All right, great. Well, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Maridee.
And talk to you soon.
Cheers. Bye.